Now, in all of our previous video sessions on MS Access, we have been dealing with data sets by straight away going into the table view in MS Access and modifying or editing the values in the table. Now, if you have dealt with data for even just one day, you would probably know that it is not really a good idea because, firstly, if your table is shared by a lot of people, then the other person might, on his or her own, go onto a row and modify the values at her or his own behest. And in that case, you will have a data inconsistency, and also in certain circumstances you don't really want the other individual to know the contents of your data set either, and you want to restrict the data set to an individual in such a way that he or she is able to access or modify only certain values in it. Now, the direct modification of the data has been completely ruled out over here. The other alternative is the modifying your data set using SQL, which we are going to deal in the forthcoming sessions. But for the next couple of sessions, we are going to deal with something called forms. So if you have ever worked with data entry before, you would know that forms are simply a user interface created by an individual which lets you input data in such a way that only the fields and needs to be edited from time over time, and at the back end certain calculations or consistency checks or uniqueness tests could be performed to update your data set in the most best way possible. So as an overview, by creating forms in MS Access, we take direct control of what goes into our tables in our database. And the other user editing the form is simply left with a user interface where he or she can only enter into the data in those forms for us to manipulate it in the next phase. So we are going to begin with creating forms from this session, and the first landmark, well, before creating up a form, is this create tab over here, and we move on to this forms section, and there are in fact 4 different ways in which you can create up forms in MS Access. The most popular and the easiest one being the form wizard, which helps you, which is just a step-by-step process given by Access to create a forms of your desired choice in MS Access. So in the forthcoming sessions, we are going to explore all of the form creation options one by one, beginning with form wizard.